Hello, dear viewer, and thank you for joining me on day 43 of reading the Bible together. Today we are reading Exodus chapter 36 and 37 from the Old Testament, as well as Matthew chapter 25, verse 1 to 13 from the New Testament. Let's start. Exodus chapter 36. Bezalel, Aholiab, and all the other workers to whom the Lord has given skill and understanding, who know how to make everything needed to build the sacred tent, are to make everything just as the Lord has commanded. The people bring many gifts. Moses called Bezalel, Aholiab, and all the other skilled men to whom the Lord has given ability and who were willing to help, and Moses told them to start working. They received from him all the offerings which the Israelites had brought for constructing the sacred tent. But the people of Israel continued to bring Moses their offerings every morning. Then the skilled men who were doing the work went and told Moses, "The people are bringing more than is needed for the work which the Lord commanded to be done." So Moses sent a command throughout the camp that no one was to make any further contribution for the sacred tent, so the people did not bring any more. What had already been brought was more than enough to finish all the work. Making the tent of the Lord's presence. The most skilled men among those doing the work made the tent of the Lord's presence. They made it out of 10 pieces of fine linen, woven with blue, purple, and red wool, and embroidered with figures of winged creatures. Each piece was the same size, 14 yards long and 2 yards wide. They sewed 5 of them together in one set and did the same with the other 5. They made loops of blue cloth on the edge of the outside piece in each set. They put 50 loops on the first piece of the first set and 50 loops matching them on the last piece of the second set. They made 50 gold hooks with which to join the 2 sets into one piece. Then they made a cover for the tent out of 11 pieces of cloth made of goat's hair. They made them all the same size, 15 yards long and 2 yards wide. They sewed 5 of them together in one set and the other 6 in another set. They put 50 loops on the edge of the last piece of one set and 50 loops on the edge of the other set. They made 50 bronze hooks to join the 2 sets, so as to form one cover. They made 2 more coverings, one of ram skin dyed red, and the other of fine leather, to serve as an outer cover. They made upright frames of acacia wood for the tent. Each frame was 15 feet tall and 27 inches wide, with 2 matching projections, so that the frames could be joined together. All the frames had these projections. They made 20 frames from the south side and 40 silver bases to go under them, 2 bases under each frame to hold its 2 projections. They made 20 frames for the north side of the tent and 40 silver bases, 2 under each frame. For the back of the tent on the west, they made 6 frames and 2 frames for the corners. These corner frames were joined at the bottom and connected all the way to the top. The 2 frames that formed the 2 corners were made in this way. So there were 8 frames and 16 silver bases, 2 under each frame. They made 15 crossbars of acacia wood, 5 for the frames on the one side of the tent, 5 for the frames on the other side, and 5 for the frames on the west end at the back. The middle crossbar, set halfway up the frames, extended from one end of the tent to the other. They covered the frames with gold and fitted them with gold rings to hold the crossbars, which were also covered with gold. They made a curtain of fine linen, woven with blue, purple, and red wool, and embroidered it with figures of winged creatures. They made 4 posts of acacia wood to hold the curtain, covered them with gold, and fitted them with gold hooks. Then they made 4 silver bases to hold the posts. For the entrance of the tent they made a curtain of fine linen, woven with blue, purple, and red wool. and decorated with embroidery. For this curtain they made 5 posts fitted with hooks, covered their tops and their rods with gold, and made 5 bronze bases for the posts. Exodus chapter 37. Making the covenant box. Bezalel made the covenant box out of acacia wood, 45 inches long, 27 inches wide, and 27 inches high. He covered it with pure gold inside and out, and put a gold border all around it. He made 4 carrying rings of gold for it, and attached them to its 4 feet, with 2 rings on each side. He made carrying poles of acacia wood, covered them with gold, and put them through the rings on each side of the box. He made a lid of pure gold, 45 inches long and 27 inches wide. He made 2 winged creatures of hammered gold, one for each end of the lid. He made them so that they formed one piece with the lid. The winged creatures faced each other across the lid, and their outspread wings covered it. Making the table for the bread offered to God. He made the table out of acacia wood, 36 inches long, 18 inches wide, and 27 inches high. He covered it with pure gold and put a gold border around it. He made a rim 3 inches wide around it and put a gold border around the rim. He made 4 carrying rings of gold for it and put them at the 4 corners where the legs were. The rings to hold the poles for carrying the table were placed near the rim. He made the poles of acacia wood and covered them with gold. He made the dishes of pure gold for the table, the plates, the cups, the jars, and the bowls to be used for the wine offering. Making the lampstand. He made the lampstand of pure gold. He made its base and its shaft of hammered gold. Its decorative flowers, including buds and petals, formed one piece with it. 6 branches extended from its sides, 3 from each side. Each of the 6 branches had 3 decorative flowers shaped like almond blossoms with buds and petals. The shaft of the lampstand had 4 decorative flowers shaped like almond blossoms with buds and petals. There was 1 bud below each of the 3 pairs of branches. The buds, the branches, and the lampstand were a single piece of pure hammered gold. He made 7 lamps for the lampstand, and he made its tongs and trays of pure gold. He used 75 pounds of pure gold to make the lampstand and all its equipment. Making the altar for burning incense. He made an altar out of acacia wood for burning incense. It was square, 18 inches long and 18 inches wide, and it was 36 inches high. Its projections at the 4 corners formed one piece with it. He covered its top, all 4 sides, and its projections with pure gold, and put a gold border around it. He made 2 gold carrying rings for it and attached them below the border on the 2 sides to hold the poles with which it was to be carried. He made the poles of acacia wood and covered them with gold. Making the anointing oil and the incense. He also made the sacred anointing oil and the pure sweet-smelling incense mixed like perfume. Please feel free to pause the video here for time to reflect on what we have read. Let's continue. Matthew chapter 25, verse 1 to 13. The parable of the 10 young women. At that time, the kingdom of heaven will be like this. Once there were 10 young women who took their oil lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, and the other 5 were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps but did not take any extra oil with them, while the wise ones took containers full of oil for their lamps. The bridegroom was late in coming, so they began to nod and fall asleep. It was already midnight when the cry rang out, "Here is the bridegroom, come and meet him." The 10 young women woke up and trimmed their lamps. Then the foolish ones said to the wise ones, "Let us have some of your oil, because our lamps are going out." "No, indeed," the wise ones answered, "there is not enough for you and for us." Go to the store and buy some for yourselves." So the foolish ones went off to buy some oil, and while they were gone, the bridegroom arrived. The 5 who were ready went in with him to the wedding feast, and the door was closed. Later the others arrived. "Sir, sir, let us in," they cried out. "Certainly not, I don't know you," the bridegroom answered. And Jesus concluded, "Watch out then, because you do not know the day or the hour." Please feel free to pause the video here for time to reflect on what we have read. That's it for today, and I hope that you'll join me in the next video. Wishing you a graceful morning, day, or evening.